Hello and welcome to the Thursday Night Write. I'm Shari Foos, the founder of the Narrative Method. And the narrative method is a practice that uses our stories, our creativity, our humor, and our humanity to connect more deeply with ourselves and each other. Our mission is to provide a safe space where people can just let go of their self-consciousness that we all have. It's not just you, and understand and experience what it's like to feel seen and heard for wherever your imagination takes you, whatever you write. We're much less concerned about the content of what you write and more concerned with the creative process of letting go and letting your brilliant imagination take over. So, before I introduce Diane, I just want to make sure that we have the rules straight. So by being here, you agree to mutual respect and confidentiality. That means that everything that is said here stays here. There's no recording. There's no AI recording. And importantly, please no probing other people when they share something, and no sharing other stories. Um, our stories are ours alone to decide whether or not to share. So that's about it. I am going to tell you a little bit first about this truly incredible human, Diane Luby Lane. She's the founder, CEO of the global nonprofit Get Lit, Words Ignite, whose mission is to amplify student engagement and literacy through the power of spoken word. In 2024, Get Lit was one of 300 organizations that received $1 million from Mackenzie Scott's Yield Foundation of more than 6,500 applicants. In 2023, Get Lit was voted Nonprofit Organization of the Year. It is a 2020 and 2023 Library of Congress International Best Practice nominee for doing exemplary, innovative, and replicable work that promotes literacy. There's far more than that, but I really want to get to this interview. Diane, welcome. I am just thrilled to have you. I haven't seen you in a long time. The last time I spoke to you, we were talking about the struggles of the financial struggles of nonprofits, and then boom, you got gifted with what you deserved.
Ah, thank you so much. Thank you. It's still a struggle, still having a nonprofit, even receiving $1 million award in this climate. It's like, it's still, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say was the part of forming this vision? What was that related deeply to who you are?
I, when I was in my early 20s, I met a woman named Vivica Lynn Force, who was an actress, and she introduced me to poetry, and it was life-changing for me. Does anyone here know Vivica Lynn Force? Has anyone heard of her?
I'm seeing some
She
nods.
she was a Swedish woman. She was 72 years old. Amazing. 72 years old. I was in my early 20s, and she she cast me in a play, and she asked then if she could join my theater company. And I thought, why would this famous woman who's on Broadway want to hang out with a bunch of 20-year-olds? But her spirit was so live, and so she wanted to be around young energy. And she came in and she performed this set of poems, and I had never heard poems performed out loud before. And I didn't even like poetry, like so many of us. I hated it. I thought it was just so boring. But she performed Walt Whitman and all kinds of all ages and um, all kinds of characters, really a 1 hour set, and it just the hair on the back of my arm stood up. And it was poetry, it was spoken word poetry, it was the classics brought to life. Get Lit is that, plus also students writing their own original responses back to the classics, so it's a combination. I just, when you hear poetry, just cuts to the core of who you are, and I I don't know, it really spoke to my heart, and it actually changed my life. And I wanted to bring that kind of deep connection to feeling to young people who are often so trapped in their feelings and don't know how to express them, don't know how to share them, don't know how to create community. And this is a wonderful bridge. So It's amazing. To me, it's amazing now as I've run Get Lit for 20 years to think, here this woman is 72 years old. If only she knew over the past 20 years, 100,000 kids have graduated from our program. So I wish she could know. Of course, she's done so much for more for the world than help me start Get Lit, but I hope she knows that wherever she is today, the impact she's had.
It's so incredible. So, what is something that you find you tell your, what do you call them? Students? Do you call them students?
Yeah, I do. Students,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what do you tell them repeatedly? In other words, what are some things that you feel are so key that you've got to know?
Mhm. Um, well, I think it's really important that listening, the act of listening to someone else is so important. So I just want people to know when they're speaking that how important they are and how special they are. Each of us is so unique and so special. And I feel like so often people aren't told. So you have all these beautiful young people that just maybe feel maybe it's even not true. Their parents love them deeply, but they maybe aren't experiencing that. Or maybe they are, but just to have it reflected, like they say, the moon reflects back someone else's light. The moon reflects back light. To be the moon for other people, to reflect back, you're beautiful, you're loved, you're special, you're incredible. What? What did you write? What did you say? I think the act of just listening and reflecting back is such needed medicine. So that's what I think people, young people just need to hear. You're special.
Yeah, and that's what we focus on here as well. Just like you said, the opportunity to be seen and heard, to be uninterrupted with no
Mhm.
judgment or no tips
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
automatic, I just
Mhm.
all know what it is to give up because
Mm,
somebody's criticism just cut to the quick. And we all
mhm,
know also what it is to get up again. And so I just deeply appreciate what you do, and I'm sure everyone here can relate to it.
mm,
We also talk about the power of witnessing
mhm,
and realizing that your presence, who you are,
mm.
is helping someone else be who they are.
That's so beautiful, and I agree with that.
So where are you going from here?
Well, we've there's two newest, most exciting developments
No, I
are
mean after you leave here tonight.
oh,
No, I'm kidding.
today?
No, no,
Oh,
I'm kidding.
okay. I'm like, um, we just created something called the Creative Career Lab. So actually, so we've worked with people for a long time. So we start with young kids when they're in middle school or high school, and then we've seen them go on to college and continue to support them on their journeys. But we've had a lot of kids, for example, perform at the White House and then end up sleeping in their cars. It's like we've learned over all these years that people need to actually land in careers and jobs that feel good. So just recently, we got a grant from the governor's office to put 110 young creative people to work in full-time jobs over the next 3 years. So we call it the Creative Career Lab. So we have a 1 year cohort of young people. There's 40 young people this year. So if any of you want to hire young social media professionals, um, young coordinators, but they're creative with immense creative skills, please let me know. So that's a really exciting new opportunity for us, the Creative Career Lab. And we also have an online platform that connects kids in classrooms all over the world so they can write poems together. We have schools in different countries and schools in LA, and they write and meet together online.
Incredible. Um, I just wanted to open it up if that's okay with you, because I'm
Yeah.
sure people would have some thoughts and questions.
Mhm.
Diane is going to be leaving shortly, but I did want to give you the opportunity to talk with her directly. Whatever has come up for you, just listening to her and her background. Trevor.
Diane, you've had a lot of you've had one woman shows and you've created Get Lit and you've done a lot, but I'm just curious, when was the first time that you felt you were truly seen and it was okay? You know what I mean?
that I was truly seen and it was okay.
Yeah.
You mean before Get Lit or since Get Lit?
Ah, I'll leave that up to you.
Well, I think honestly, I think I would say probably my dad. And I lost my dad because he got remarried, and that was very sad for me when I was probably middle school years. And that's probably why I have such a deep sensitivity for kids and what they go through. It's really hard sometimes being a kid. But when I was little, that sense of my father, he was such a he was such a present person. He could really be still with you and see you. He taught me how to read, and reading is so beautiful. If you're a parent, you sit a kid on your lap and you hold that book. There's something about it that's so um it's just beautiful. The paper of the books hold you and the body of your parent. And my father's funny. And, it was just my father, I'd have to say. And even with all we've gone through with, remarriage and all the heartbreaks and ups and downs of being a kid, I am forever grateful to my dad for my young years of just his presence. He was extraordinary.
Mm. So complex, isn't it?
It
Ste-
is. Yeah.
Stephen,
Hi, all. Thank you, Diane. What is a typical curriculum? What's a typical day's class look like for your students?
Well, we have an original curriculum that's in over 100 schools. So it's taught, we train teachers to teach it in their schools. So we have either a 12-hour curriculum where student teachers add it to their English class, or it could be the whole English class. It depends, if it's a semester or year long. So that's happening in a lot of schools. But then if kids don't want to stop, they start memorizing poems, performing poems, writing poems, sharing them with their peers and getting a lot of attention, and they want to keep going. They come to our after school programs, and then we work with them and develop their sets bigger and bigger. And then our kids, once you have a poem that you're really proud of, our kids have gone, they do shows for other kids in other high schools. They'll show up and perform Langston Hughes and Emily Dickinson and their own work and have these in-school assemblies, or they'll perform, they'll open for John Legend and have really exciting opportunities. So our days are very varied, but we meet kids wherever they are, from middle school, the shyest of the shy person who doesn't want to be in front of their peers at all, to rocking Lincoln Center.
and I can really attest, years ago, I'm going to say approximately 2015,
Mm.
we did a salon with the Get Lit kids. I actually, when Diane leaves, because I don't want to cut into her time, but later in today's salon, I will show you their brilliance, not just their talent in writing or performing, their depth of knowing themselves and being vulnerable. It is rare in adults and it's mind blowing in these kids. So I can't wait to show you that later.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much. The work you do is really incredible. That was the most amazing day. And the way that you worked with us and them was just, it was so inspiring.
Well, I'd love to see them again sometime. Vicky.
Hi, I just have a quick question. Have you ever met Amanda Gorman?
Yeah. Amanda,
You have? Oh,
yeah, she's,
she's one of my heroes. She's brilliant for such
she's
a
so,
young woman.
when she was a young woman, a young poet, she tried out for the Los Angeles Poet Laureate, and I was on the Poet Laureate committee. I was one of 3 people to judge her to become Poet Laureate of Los Angeles. And I remember her application, and it was like, when it's like, oh, it like glistened and glowed. It was, for whatever reason, it was like, yes, she's in first place to win LA Poet Laureate. And she's partnered with us since then on different initiatives. She's wonderful.
In my opinion, she's like a protege of poetry.
She
And she
is.
memorizes everything. I get all of her books, her couple books anyway,
Oh,
yeah, that's all. I just wanted to know. Yeah,
yeah,
Thanks,
that's a great
Vicky.
question. She's wonderful.
yeah.
Christine, you're muted. Good.
What are the age groups that you work with?
Well, we're actually elementary all the way through now 28. And
Oh,
actually, yeah, we're mostly middle school, high school, but in college age and I would say high school is what we're most known for is high school, but we have elementary too. And now because we say from classroom to career, our deputy director that we just hired, so she's second in command, she'll probably take over Get Lit. I met her at 14 years old when she was at Hamilton High School. So and now she's like 31. So, it runs the gamut.
That's
but
amazing.
but not for 58-year-olds, huh? I
Not
get
for
up to 28.
58-year-olds. No, that's a good question. But I have special little classes sometimes for older people. I know it's like we need a space to go to work on our stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
we have in the past done poetry salons and are hoping to do that again.
Oh, yes, that would be great.
But I would love you to be involved. And we will talk about the future in the future. But for now, I want to thank you so much for sharing yourself with us and for inspiring me so deeply. I really love what you do, who you are, and how you do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for the work that you do. And thank you everybody for being here and for listening, learning about Get Lit. Thank you.
Lots of
Thank
love,
you.
Diane.